Hey guys, my name's Trapixium. Now, this week I'm running without a proper mic, which is why my quality is down a bit, so I'm going to hold my actual video. The script is done, I just have to record it, and I will, once I get a new mic in. Until then, how about some fun? Let's talk about sets. They come out a lot, and suffice to say, we all have our favorites. And we all identify with specific ones. For one reason or another. You like the art, you like the setting, story, you played standard at that point, and you steamrolled your LGS maybe. You joined the game during that setting. A couple of things before we start, these are my picks, not anyone else's. Just because a certain set is here, that doesn't mean I think it's the best set ever. No, it's just something I personally favor. So let's get into it. My top 12 sets from Magic the Gathering. Xenagos, take it away.
Number 12, Dragons of Tarkir.
Alright, so starting off on a really hard choice. Tarkir as a whole is an amazing place in both timelines, and frankly, it could have gone either way. Hell, I was considering doing Fate Reforged just because I love time travel, and 2, the art for Crux of Fate. That art is so cool alone, it is a considerable reason. Tarkir block itself was amazing, but I like Dragons the most out of the 3 because I love seeing what changes are made to the timeline. Its catharsis for me comes from the fact that you see how the clans change. For example, the Mardu go from a clan of swift horses to a roaming war caravan following an elder dragon. That is awesome. The dragons themselves carry a sense of epic that is best shown in Silumgar. He's wearing Tasigur as a necklace, as in Tasigur the Golden Fang. That same guy is what Silumgar wears around his neck. That is messed up. I love it. Amazing designs in both gameplay and world building. Now the question is, will you fly with the dragons?
Number 11, New Phyrexia.
So, growing up, I always hated horror movies. Resident Evil Nemesis for the PlayStation 1 scared me as a child. But I always loved monsters. And then as an adult, I met the Phyrexians. Kinda actually sounds like a sitcom. Anyway, New Phyrexia has the most toxic keyword in Magic history, being Infect, and the visuals are just goring enough to make me want to stare at just one piece of art all day. I always feel genuinely bad when I see cards where something is being tortured on New Phyrexia, because that must be the worst hell I can imagine next to Dimir Interrogation, because that art is so well done, it conveys so much physical pain, that I feel bad for the person getting the blade. Lore-wise, it gets even creepier, as this is an invasive species that invaded Mirrodin, and they're turning them into their own brand of Phyrexian. These are artificial, yes, but they also didn't remove all the organic material by the looks of things, so they just look horrific. It's like a robot zombie, which if I didn't sleep before, I'm not going to sleep now because that is a thing in my brain and it scares me. Evil, genocidal, and above all hell-bent on turning you into an artifact, I can't help but stare at a New Phyrexian because those things creep me out. And they're also intriguing. Careful, Planeswalker. These ones mean business.
Number 10, Return to Ravnica.
RTR was a fun set, not worth much now, but without it, I probably wouldn't be here. I came in initially during Return to Ravnica, and I loved the idea when my friend explained it to me. I originally chose Rakdos. I was a fool then, I'm a fool now, but I can't help but look at the designs in RTR and just say yes! In terms of keywords, Return has some freaking gangbusters. Blood Rush, Populate, Cypher. I love these, and I have had my butt handed me a few times by 3 creatures all with Battalion. Return wasn't broken. To me, it was the beginning. Every guild looked shiny and each one had its own design that I didn't need the watermarks to know that these guys were on different teams. It didn't matter to me what was happening because I was just starting. I'm still kind of fuzzy on it all because I didn't care. I was so immersed in the world that the plot didn't even matter to me. To others, it was a return. For me, it was just the beginning.
Number 9, Urza Saga.
I may not have been around for it, but that doesn't mean I don't know the power behind Urza's Saga. Dear God, the set itself is so strong, it eats any of the previous sets mentioned here for breakfast, because that's how much power is in this set. Seras Sanctum, Gaia's Cradle, Phyrexian Tower, Yawgmoth's Will. So many good cards alongside so many notable reprints. I can't help but for the sake of the old lore just love this set. I scroll through Mythic Spoiler just looking at cards because I can't afford it, but if I could, oh baby. I love the lore surrounding Urza. It's so 90s and Urza himself just looks so 90s. I can't help but read and try to learn everything I can from that point in Magic's history. Simply powerful. Just like the Mad Planeswalker himself.
Number 8. Lorwyn.
Lorwyn was a fun one for a variety of reasons. It did some good stuff for the game as a whole in its Welsh mythos trident-laden extravaganza. Elves, fairies, boggarts, and changelings. Oh my! When I think of high fantasy, I usually can't help but think of Lorwyn because it has all the classic high fantasy creatures that come to mind. Also, the cards in that set are freaking great. The command cycle is fantastic and are something to be feared depending, of course, on which side of the table you're on. If I'm being honest, I kinda want the symbol for Incendiary Command as a tattoo. Discussion of cards in Lorwyn would be incomplete without the Lorwyn 5, the original 5 Planeswalkers. Ajani, Jace, Chandra, Liliana, and Garruk. Simply iconic. When I see the art of Jace or Ajani, I instantly know where it's from. Introducing the Planeswalker card type to Lorwyn made it even more memorable because the card type was bound to be a success from the start because of its sheer value generation. Welcome to Lorwyn. Enjoy the sun, and do look out for the shadows.
Number 7. Conflux.
Moving from a set that is the setup to an event, we go to another set that is literally set in the middle of a nigh cataclysmic event. Lovely. Conflux does something that not a lot of people considered.
Hey, can you just do 5 nonsense?
Yes, all the mechanics from shards are back, but now they are aware of each other, and Wizards had room to board in hate for flavor. Now, that is a fun reason because the shards obviously hate each other. Let's just board in hate to show how much they do. That's funny to me. The set does so much right, you really get the feeling of chaos whether the domain shifts on your opponent's turn, or they play a 5-color monstrosity that clearly isn't from any shard at all. The best example I can offer of the chaos of Alara is Progenitus himself. A wonderfully powerful card, the soul of the world has returned, and he is an absolute monster. You really get a grasp into how big he is just by seeing how high his heads tower above the clouds. And the worst part is you can't destroy him unless you destroy Alara itself. And speaking of self-destruction...
Number 6. Innistrad.
Dang, that transition though. I always liked the top-down designs, but I always liked Innistrad specifically because, like New Phyrexia, the set creeps me out just in a different way. With New Phyrexia, you get the idea that these are an invasive group. They are fully willing to flay away your skin and just experiment on you because they don't believe you're perfect unless you're made of metal. Alright, it's not that they will kill you, it's that they aren't going to, and they are going to turn you into one of them. On Innistrad, so many bad things can happen. You're in a gothic horror world, so exactly what you expect is going to happen to you probably will. Vampires, werewolves, crazy scientists bringing the dead back to life. Humans are being preyed upon as they are the last bastions of anything normal on the plane, and on top of that, the thing that is supposed to be protecting you is freaking gone. I get a feeling of dread from Innistrad because while no, I'm not being turned into a biomechanical monstrosity, I'm constantly being preyed upon by not only things that want to kill me, but I'd never know what they were until it's too late. Innistrad is immersive, and the cards in it make the set even better. Snapcaster Mage, Liliana of the Veil, Delver of Secrets, and my personal favorite part of the Damia Mill deck, Laboratory Maniac. Welcome to Innistrad. Don't go out at night.
Number 5. Mirrodin.
Excuse the standard players from this time as they're probably having flashbacks, but while I can't say Mirrodin was fun, it provided an interesting look into the future as Mirrodin had a lot of firsts. First time the new card frame was used, and the first time the new creature typing was actually used in expansion sets. As far as everything else is concerned, Mirrodin was powerful. Very powerful. It had cards like Tooth and Nail, Chrome Mox, Solemn Simulacron, Chalice of the Void. Also, those keywords weren't anything to mess with either. Freaking Entwine, Metalcraft, and forgive me for saying it, but Affinity. As far as flavor is concerned, it's a world of artifacts. It makes sense that the world would be powerful, but it almost destroyed Standard. So perhaps too powerful? Overall, I like Mirrodin because of the purpose it serves now in Commander. Oblivion Stone, Lightning Greaves, Gilded Lotus, and so on, there are so many good cards from Mirrodin that I use in Commander that I pretty much could build a deck from what they have. Mirrodin was hell, but it was an interesting hell to say the least.
Number 4. Rise of the Eldrazi.
All aboard the adventure train! Oh yeah, Rise of the Eldrazi is my kind of set just because of how crazy things get. You have giant alien creatures that destroy everything just by existing at that point in time and space. Talk about your kaiju, the set's mechanics Level Up and Annihilator were great. Level Up is criminally underused nowadays anyway, and Annihilator is just mean, and I love it. The fact that the Eldrazi are just massive monsters that just eat away at mana really cements the idea that these guys just destroy things by swinging alone and not even damage. The artwork alone is beautiful. Zendikar by itself is wonderful, but if you try to tell me you don't love Emrakul's art, I'll call you a damn liar. Speaking of Emrakul, her and the Eldrazi Titans are absolutely nuts. I've died to them so many times it's not even funny. Watch out for Eldrazi Winter.
Number 3. Dominaria.
Nothing quite like a callback. Now, I've heard a lot of people call this set bad, but I don't believe it to be as bad as everyone believes it to be. The reason why I don't believe it's as bad, because it did things myself and my playgroup had thought about. Nice tribal, slowing down storm, bigger creatures, legendary spells, and artifacts. Bringing back Kicker in my opinion was a great choice. It's a nostalgia set. That's why we have sagas. And Dominaria has been reintroduced to new players now. Dominaria needed this so badly because it's been years. Hell, I didn't know anything about Dominaria until I actually started doing lore research, which was years after I had started playing. Dominaria had epic spells and a shiny new design for the Nexus of the Multiverse. When I found out the Weatherlight was coming back, I got so hyped. I love that ship so much, I actually named it after my Chromecast. Overall, Dominaria was such a fun time. It was exciting, and the cards for me mirrored that excitement. My girlfriend pulled a foil Teferi, and we marveled at it for minutes on end. Seeing familiar faces again was such a good time, I can't help but welcome another nostalgia set. Suffice to say, it was quite the warm welcome home.
Number 2. Ravnica, City of Guilds.
Yes. Forget your returns to Ravnica and your returns to Return to Ravnica, because the OG set is right here. Gotta love the original Ravnica. The set that not only saved Magic but put it back on track. All Ravnica had to do to save the game was simple. Come in. For as much love as I give RTR, I have to give more to City of Guilds because it actually made the original designs that RTR improved on. The card designs here have inspired Modern for the past couple years, with Dredge being as huge as it is, and Zoodex getting Court of Calling, freaking Lightning Helix, just saying. The set gave us hybrid mana and a reason to have hope in the game again. But with that being said, a lot of my opinions on City of Guilds piggyback off the initial ramblings of RTR. It's a city, and it's also my favorite place to be.
Number 1. Born of the Gods.
Now hold on. Before you go on destroying me in the comments for choosing a set that a lot of people consider absolute trash, let me explain. As I said during Innistrad, I love top-down designs. Growing up, I read a lot of Greek myths. Then why not just pick Theros? Well, that's simple. Nothing happens in Theros. It isn't until Born of the Gods that things escalate. The veil between Nyx and Theros is slowly dissolving, letting all the Nyxborn into Theros, making things infinitely worse as Xenagos makes the plane's inhabitants question the very nature of the gods. A set should have 3 good things: good art, good cards, and good story. It's like a fire triangle, but for a good set. Now, by no extent am I saying Theros is a bad set, because it's not. Matter of fact, it's better than Born of the Gods. But if I were to have the choice between conflict versus no conflict in a story, I'm going with Born of the Gods because it actually tells an interesting story like a Greek myth. Born of the Gods isn't exactly bereft of good cards either. Brymaz, King of Orskoros, Cursor of Krufix, Astral Cornucopia, the God Cycle for the set is pretty good. Xenagos, Saphara, Phoenix, Karametra, and Mogus. We have the Archetype Cycle, which is really good as well, taking away all of your opponent's keywords and giving that one specific keyword to you. It's not the best set, by far, it's not the best set, but it's my favorite, and for what it does well, it does Greek myths and storytelling absolutely amazing. But that's just my opinion. What do you guys think? Tell me what you think in the comments below. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and may the Lotus watch over you.